I'm getting down on one knee. Getting down on one knee.
Yes.
Don't care. One knee. Knee.
Dear Shandy. Welcome back to another Dear Shandy Bachelorette recap, listeners. Hello, Andy.
Hello.
How are you today?
I am good.
I'm not going to forget today.
No, we are not.
I'm going to do it.
We're going to do it.
I'm going to do the thing that I said I'm going to do.
Do the thing.
Thankfully, some Shandies reminded us.
Reminded me and you.
Reminded
and us.
you to remind me.
That's right.
To remind you, the Shandies, to like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. It's either high or low. I don't remember.
What does the notification bell do?
It makes you get
Notifications.
Yeah.
Oh. I thought it was just like a bell you ring. You're like, ding.
Yeah.
Like the town crier.
When a new episode comes out, then they get notified.
Okay, that's good.
Mm-hmm.
So subscribe, like.
Oh, leave reviews.
iTunes or Apple podcast reviews.
Yes,
very
that's
important.
the big
That's
one,
the big
actually.
one.
Yeah.
That's the big one.
We're trying to grow, you know.
We're
still
trying to
grow.
We don't try hard. We don't try as hard as the others.
No.
We don't know how to do that.
No, I think we're supposed to get a PR and stuff, and we're just not.
We're supposed to do stuff.
But
we're doing this.
So instead, we're asking you to do it for us. We've done this before, and we're shameful, so we're going to stop talking about it now.
Okay, stop.
So, other housekeeping.
No, that's it.
All right, let's get going.
That's good.
Although they did say that they like housekeeping. I thought that was cute.
And follow us on Instagram.
All right. So let's get going with Bachelorette Season 20, Episode 4. We're in Stevenson, Washington.
Washington State. Good state.
It's gorgeous.
Yeah.
Very pretty.
Very.
The entire team moves into Skamania Lodge. It looks very beautiful. And Jesse Palmer arrives in an olive green cable knit sweater. I had to point out his sweater just because I thought it looked so good on him.
Does he pick his sweaters? If he does, he's got great sweater taste.
I think that his stylist probably helps him. But they have a say.
And you have to remember, Jesse's on ESPN, so he's got to make sure he's showing the correct image for his boys back home.
Oh, you think so?
Yeah, he doesn't want sweaters that are going too far.
How can a sweater go too far?
Oh, it can go too far.
Men in sweaters, let me tell you, there's nothing quite like it.
Yeah.
Just
right.
being a woman now. I don't know what that meant really, but he looked really good in the sweater. Okay, so they half-heartedly sell Jesse as some Bigfoot enthusiast. It was not convincing, though.
You know, Bigfoot's interesting. I was thinking about Bigfoot last night.
Oh, I figured you would have some fun fact for us today.
I don't know if I may, but the general thought I had was like, all these big mythological conspiracies they're large, they're expansive. It's like flat Earth, like the whole planet is flat, or like aliens, like are among us, alien, invaders. But Bigfoot is small, and I've always found it puzzling. There's a Bigfoot everywhere. Bigfoot in the United States, Yeti in Asia, and even Australia has Yowie. There's a literal organization. It's like a company that does research exclusively on Bigfoot. It's called like the Bigfoot Research Organization. I'm not even kidding, like a BFRO or something. Or the BRO. BRO? Would it be BFRO? Or
Bro.
It's the bro.
Which, by the way, should have been the word watchword, except I would have lost it.
Are you kidding?
Yeah,
that's like
imagine.
like.
There's a lot, there's a lot of bros this week.
But anyway, imagine going to work at the BRO. You have to get, do you ever get sick of going to work at the BRO?
You have to believe in Bigfoot.
You get into work and you're like, oh, God, another day at the bureau. Sucks.
Okay, so there's a day card for a one-on-one. It goes to Dotun. This is to be celebrated
this
here.
This is the rise of Dotun.
Finally, a little late, but I mean, considering this seems to be a short season.
Yeah, we did the math. It seems like it's 8 episodes.
Charity picks Dotun up in a yellow Jeep, and there's an instant man chat now where Brayden is shown rolling his eyes over the other guys saying they have strong connections with Charity. He calls Sean Prince Charming from Shrek, which I thought was quite accurate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also the guy from Team America, the blonde guy. Or the main guy.
The actor.
Yeah. No, the puppet in Team America.
They're all puppets.
Yeah, but, well, why did you say the actor?
Because the main guy is
you mean the guy
actor.
Who's a big actor?
Yeah.
Oh, I see. That's
He's
very confusing.
He's scouted for his acting.
To say the actor in a movie is very confusing. That's like meta. But yeah, the guy who's like the really good actor or his sidekick who's a dick, the blonde guy. Either one, they both look like him.
He's very all-American looking. Yeah, I think Brayden, this is one of the examples of him not picking his battles, but it's clear that they're just grating on each other. Yeah. annoying man chat. Like, it's so clear. Like, those man chats, they're all saying exactly what they're supposed to say. I think I would also find that kind of annoying.
It's super annoying.
But Brayden is not good at just keeping it to himself. He was like, his face was like twitching.
You know what the problem on this show is? You're rewarded for being a goody-goody.
And saying what you're supposed to say. Yeah. It's like, say what they want you to say and you will be rewarded hard.
It teaches bad lessons, actually.
It's true.
Don't do what everybody else is doing and what you're supposed to do. Break it.
It's true.
Be Brayden.
This reminds me of your story about counting to a minute.
Yes.
I forgot if that was in a Q&A.
I
think it was.
Yeah, in kindergarten.
Yeah, and how you counted to a minute and all the other kids sat down at around 20 seconds.
At the most.
Yeah. You were a trailblazer, Andy.
Yeah,
thinking for yourself.
Not Aaron B.
Okay, so Word Watch 1 comes along here. Someone, I forgot who, says,
tried to question my intention, whether or not I'm here for the right reason.
You'll all see who it is when I insert the clip. And on the date now, Charity asks Dotun what he thought the date would be about. And he said, probably heights, quote, which is interesting because that's one of my few fears. This was hilarious.
I mean, he knows.
He knows. I mean, what a coincidence. Charity is fully crying because she's also afraid of heights. And she says she promised herself she would never bungee jump.
I also did.
And?
It's a good promise. And I'm going to keep that promise.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
Unless...
No, unless. Unless someone says you either bungee jump or you die. That's always the thing. And then I have to still think about it. I'm like, okay, give me 1 second.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, I'll bungee jump.
You know what? That's another life lesson. It's like you swear to yourself, like that's a boundary you have for yourself. And they're like, no, you're going to bungee jump. Everything about this show is teaching horrible life lessons.
And it makes you, it's such shame. If you, like I'd be the first guy on The Bachelor to be like, no, I'm just not doing that. I wouldn't do it.
I would love to watch that. Yeah. Honestly, I would love to watch you on the show, but I guess a few bad things would have to happen.
Well, the
first.
senior league is coming.
The Golden Bachelor.
And we'd have to get divorced. But, if you really want, we can arrange
maybe we could just separate for a
sham
little while.
divorce. Yeah, we do a sham divorce, and then we do, a sham getting married.
I would watch the bleep out of you as the Golden Bachelor.
All right, you hearing that, ABC? We will get divorced if you pick me as the Golden Bachelor.
Dotun says, this feels like the closest thing to death I could possibly do.
He's right.
And of course, this goes off without a hitch. They help each other through it. It was so exhilarating, in fact, that they did it twice.
That's the weird part.
Oh, you think so?
Yeah, now I'm thinking maybe it's not that bad.
Oh my God, you said at the time, maybe it's not that bad verbatim.
I did?
Yeah.
That's me. I'm me.
Okay, Charity says in relationships, she tends to look out for other people, but Dotun looked out for her during this. That's nice.
Yeah.
And now they look at a rainbow in the distance and sigh at the same time.
Yeah,
and then she marvels at how in sync they are. They are in sync.
Yeah.
It's very...
Double rainbow. Is that not funny anymore?
Oh,
I think it's not funny anymore.
I think now it's only funny if it's a double something. Like you just made a single rainbow, a double rainbow. You can't do
you're
that.
so right. You can't do a rainbow joke about that.
No.
It has to be a non-rainbow situation.
It either has to be a double rainbow or a double something.
No, if it's a double rainbow, it's too obvious.
No, you can say double
rainbow. And you're
rainbow.
just the first person to get to it. It's just a race.
It's true.
Yeah, it has to be a non-rainbow situation, then it's funny.
Okay.
All right, we settled that.
Okay, so now we have a man chat with Aaron B and Joey talking about Brayden. Shocking. Joey says Brayden seems shifty, and he commends Aaron for drawing attention to Brayden. So he's on Aaron's side in this. And we get Word Watch 2 here. Joey says,
I think it gets her to start to really focus on which guys are here for the right reasons.
Meanwhile, Brayden is off having a chat with Xavier, but this is not a formal man chat. He keeps looking around.
Yeah.
Like he's forgotten he's been
He thinks
mic'd.
because it's raining, they're safe. Like no cameras are going to be out. They know no cameras are near them, but they're never safe.
It's so sneaky. When you're mic'd, you forget you're mic'd.
Of course.
Yeah.
It's like forgetting you're dressed like Pikachu on Halloween.
Pikachu.
Is Pikachu a character?
Yes.
What does she look like?
What does
Pikachu look like?
Did you give Pikachu a gender just now?
Is it a she or I don't know. Is it just it's just a Pikachu?
It is a Pikachu,
gender.
but I do suspect Pikachu's a boy.
Oh,
that's just I would put my money on that, but it could be an it.
Is it yellow?
Yeah.
It's yellow round kind of thing.
What's its power? You can do this.
Pikachu. That's its power.
No, but it has a power
it bounces really hard.
No, like an element.
It makes everyone freeze.
No.
It makes everyone laugh.
No.
I don't know.
It calls on the power of
volcanoes. No. Hurricanes, tornadoes, earthquakes.
Actually, that's not really... Okay, I'll try a different... Lightning.
That was lightning? First of all, lightning doesn't make a sound.
Okay, you do the sound of lightning. That was actually pretty good. Okay, you win.
Thanks.
So Brayden with Xavier off in this man chat that he doesn't realize he's in because he's forgotten he's mic'd, is saying that he wishes he could see Charity off. Because with her in the role of Bachelorette, she's always on. He says, just be off with me.
Okay, again, Brayden dropping heavy truth. What are you going to argue about there?
Yeah,
Who wouldn't want to see her off?
Honestly,
I want to see her off.
This is one of those situations where his body language was much worse than the words he was actually saying.
Yeah, he was shifty. He was looking around.
Yeah, he was like looking around.
I would be too. He was saying things that the Bachelor Nation does not like.
Yeah, but
Big Brother. Excuse me, Brayden, were you saying something about The Bachelor being real? We don't like that.
Or not
here.
real, rather.
Sorry, not real.
Yeah.
Yeah, were you suggesting The Bachelorette is not real?
Well, and the thing is, this is true, though.
It's true.
The lead is contractually obliged to act. You think they're interested in all these people? No.
Yeah. A lead could literally just kick back and be like, where are the hors d'oeuvres? I want to get drunk. I'm not doing anything today. You're stuck with me. What are you going to do? Reshoot the whole season? Deal with it. No, you have to act.
And you have to act interested in people.
Yeah. And you have to say the things. And if you have nothing to say, you say, I feel like we have a connection growing and I think this could go somewhere and blah, 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 blah.
Very good, Andy.
Thank
You would make a great Golden Bachelor. Okay, so in the evening, there is a group date card, and going on this group date are Joey, Aaron, Michael, Caleb, Brayden, Sean, John, and Tanner, which means Xavier, yay.
Xavier Xavier for me is becoming number one.
Really?
Yeah, he's my secret number one.
Okay.
He's really he's a cool dude.
He's very
I like
cool.
Xavier.
I like that he is kind of no BS, but he just keeps a lid on it the way Brayden can't.
He's cool, and cool in the most literal sense. He's like, he doesn't say everything.
Totally.
And when he does say stuff, it actually is worthwhile.
Let me tell you, whenever Xavier says anything in a guy setting, on a date setting, anything, I'm like,
Yeah.
Everything he says has value. It carries weight because he isn't just running his mouth for no reason, like just angrily over nothing.
Speak softly, but carry a big stick. Wait, speak infrequently, but carry a big stick?
Wait, what does the big stick have to do with it?
Well, Theodore Roosevelt said that. Speak softly, but carry a big stick. Meaning like, don't be blabbing, but when you do speak, make it powerful.
But
I
why
think
the
that's what he meant.
stick? A stick for what?
A stick, like boom, like you smash someone with a stick.
Yeah.
Speak softly, but carry a big stick. Is it stick? If I'm wrong about this, I'm going to hate myself. Don't Google it. Just let me take the brunt.
I can always cut it, but I think the Shandies would be missing out.
Yeah, they can have this humiliation. But I think it speaks softly, carry a big stick, which just means like don't hammer them with your volume and volume like in sound and in quantity.
Yes.
Just choose your words carefully, speak like in a normal inside voice and make the words powerful.
Yes, I mean
that's what Xavier does.
He does,
and he's very good looking. I got to be honest with you.
Yeah,
if I
Xavier's
was going to take down one of these guys, oh boy, and Xavier, baby.
Yeah, I actually think Xavier is like the more. I can see why he and Brayden are friends.
Yeah.
Like you can tell from this conversation that Xavier's just like a more chill version.
He doesn't want to. Xavier knows well enough that he can't be too friendly with Brayden.
100%.
Which then he's going to get dirt on him.
Because he's smart, yeah.
But if I'm telling you right now that Xavier is hands down, if I was a woman, I would go into that room and I'd just be like, that guy.
Totally.
I don't even think he needs to open his mouth.
I mean, Dotun is still in the room though.
Don's too tall. He's too big. I can't handle a man that big. I don't know what to do.
You're not confident enough in your masculinity. No. Okay, so back on the date, Dotun and Charity, it's the evening, they're making s'mores, and Dotun reveals he has never made a s'more. And Andy, you claim, okay, so after they cook their marshmallows and are toasting their s'mores, because of course that's what you do on this show, Andy, you claim that their s'mores were professionally made.
Yeah, s'moregate.
I'm going to insert the clip here. We don't see them literally assembling the s'mores, but I just disagree with you so hard on this.
I'm just telling you, first of all, I don't like I don't like making s'mores. Never did. Even when I was a little kid, didn't like it.
Who doesn't
I
like
like
it?
fire. You know what it is? I don't like marshmallows. I'm not a marshmallow guy. Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, can I tell you this? I like Rice Krispie treats. I like marshmallows when they're completely disintegrated.
Okay, so they're disguised by other flavors.
Deconstructed.
You don't like the texture
No,
of a marshmallow?
I don't like anything bordering on gelatinous. I like tofu when it's cooked to death, but like that tofu where it's like gelatinous. Hate
mapo
it.
tofu.
Hate
You
it.
don't like. Yeah.
I don't care what seasoning's on it.
What
I
about-
don't like spongy things. I don't like things that have too much of a like you can jump off of them.
It's bouncy.
Yeah, I don't like bouncy things.
What about Jell-O?
Jello is technically Jello to
I've seen you eat Jell-O.
I like Jello. Jello's totally
Oh,
different.
it's because
like
Jell-O's
liquid.
unapologetic about being what it is.
Jello never fights back. Anything I do to Jello, it's going to take it. Unless I'm just like this, like bing. And it'll be like, wah, 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 wah. And I also don't like the stickiness. I invariably get some melted marshmallow in my hands. And until I get to a washroom, I'm just like, it's like super glue.
I will tell you right now that I love
I
marshmallows.
know. I know.
I love a marshmallow. And even though a s'more I think is slightly overrated, the activity of it makes it not so. And I beg to differ. I think that their s'mores were homemade. Like they made them themselves. And I think it showed your inexperience with s'more making that you thought that some producer made their perfect s'mores to toast and eat.
I'm just saying, if they did make those s'mores, they probably would have shown part of the making. That's all I'm saying. I think the s'mores were too perfect.
So now Dotun gives his backstory. He reveals he came to the U.S. when he was 4. He describes the green card or visa lottery. And his auntie had heard about this new visa lottery and then called his family or his parents to apply. And then that phone call was what eventually got him into the country at 4 years old. His whole family came over and he was marveling at how one phone call can just change the trajectory of your life.
Great story.
I loved this.
Dotun is another guy. Everything out of his mouth, good.
Dotun.
Yeah, he never says stupid stuff.
We said last week that Dotun says things.
He says things.
Not just for the sake of saying things.
Yeah.
The things he says are actual
respects
things.
things. He respects words.
He talks about how his parents struggled when they first came. They worked really hard to make sure he had a good life. Charity says she relates. Her parents worked so hard to give her a good life too. Where she grew up, no one looked like her, and she developed an achievement-oriented mindset where she had to be the very best at everything. God, the two of them talking over this, it was just so touching.
It's a real conversation.
Yeah. He says no one can put her into a box. People have tried to put him in a box, but there's more to both of them. And that's one of the things he finds so attractive about her.
And he earns his kiss. As opposed to a kiss where they're just like, okay, we got nothing else to say.
Yeah.
No more tropes.
Let's
kiss.
fill up the time until we can be interrupted. Yeah. She says she feels so good around him. She's not just saying that. I love how she said that. She's like, I swear I'm not just saying that.
Right,
I mean,
because what she's basically saying is I've been saying that the whole time.
she said she hasn't had this in a minute. This. Charity in her ITM says that Dotun is taking the time to know her for her, and no one has ever taken the time to do that.
Jeez, God, that's awful.
Dotun, it really does feel like he wants to know her on just beyond the Bachelorette. It almost feels like he's annoyed that she's the Bachelorette.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like he wants to get to know her in spite of the fact that she's Bachelorette.
I guess it's possible. It's hard to believe, but I guess it's possible that someone could have not had a partner who's cared about them their whole life.
Well, and it also is, says something about who she's been picking.
Yeah, maybe she's been picking real bad.
Yeah. She can't stop smiling as she gives him the rose, and then they kiss, and his hand, I had to point this out because
good hand
that
placement.
first kiss, I was like, oh, his hands are like magnets on her hips.
Yeah.
He goes in for the side face touch.
That was the music. The music started.
There was like silence until dun 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 dun.
It was like the movie where that ski jumper guy who was from England who like literally couldn't.
I loved that
He just
movie.
was like, I'm going to learn how to ski jump at like 35. And he just learned and he entered the Olympics and actually did a real jump. It was terrible. It was like 1/3 the distance of the worst jumper, but he landed and he did it. I feel like the music, that was the moment where his hand touched her chin.
You're giving that kiss a lot of credit. I loved that movie.
It's a great movie.
Yeah.
Was it called Eagle? It was called The Eagle. Eddie the Eagle?
Eddie the Eagle.
Or it was called The Eagle,
Oh, I want
think.
to
Or
see that
Eddie,
again.
One of the two.
Andy, your luscious mane of hair.
Oh, stop, please.
Of hair.
I mean,
It's out of control. Look at all that
please.
hair. It's insane.
I mean, look,
Are you shy? Are you embarrassed? Okay, I will brag on your behalf because we are big fans of Nutrafol and you are very diligent about taking your Nutrafol. And I mean, you got a good head of hair. That's all
Look,
I'm saying.
I appreciate all the compliments. Thank you. You're my wife, so I expect that level of complimenting. But I do owe this primarily, I think, to Nutrafol.
Yeah. I mean, Nutrafol is really the #1 dermatologist recommended hair growth supplement, which I think says something. Dermatologists are already making a good living. They don't need to stamp their seal of approval on something that they don't actually believe in.
That's so true.
And Nutrafol makes it a bespoke experience. You go to Nutrafol.com and fill out their online quiz to identify the causes of your hair thinning, which, by the way, it's very common. It happens with both men and women. And certainly as you age.
I've kind of gotten into supplements recently. And when I take my Nutrafol, which by the way is so easy, it's not like something you like scrub in your scalp or rub on your skin or like, you know, you have to take 7 times a day. It's just one time I take the Nutrafol, and when I take it, I'm like, this feels like it's doing something.
Your hair's like boo, 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 boo.
Yeah, I feel like there's like Play-Doh where you're like turning the thing.
But yes, you fill out that online quiz and then Nutrafol will give you a personalized full body health plan to help with your hair situation. And of course, you do that in conjunction with their supplements. And meanwhile, Nutrafol supports healthy hair growth from within by targeting the root causes of hair thinning, which are, Andy?
Stress, hormones, lifestyle, nutrition, environment, and metabolism.
So take the first step to visibly thicker, healthier hair. For a limited time, Nutrafol is offering our listeners, the Shandies, $10 off their first month subscription plus free shipping when they go to Nutrafol, Nutrafol.com, promo code Shandy.
Find out why over 4,000 healthcare professionals recommend Nutrafol for healthier hair.
That's Nutrafol.com, promo code Shandy, Nutrafol.com, promo code Shandy. So Andy, I'm a firm believer that you are what you eat.
Me too.
Yeah, I feel like you can sort of deny that for a while, but especially as you get older, you're like, oh, wait, I feel a lot better when I eat healthily.
As I get older, I realize that all the sayings I was told as a kid were right.
And there are a lot of factors that go into a healthy, well-balanced meal. And that's why we love us some Factor. Do you like how I did that? No. But Factor delivers delicious, healthy, well-balanced meals that are never frozen. Never frozen. To your door.
And can I just focus on the thing that I think about the most? Like when I go to the refrigerator, I have to be honest. I always think, you know, your body's a temple, like what you eat, portions, sugar, all this stuff. But really what I want is delicious.
Yes.
That's the main goal.
Well, and that's why Factor is really at the top of our list. Like when we open the fridge and we've still got some Factor meals from our last delivery, it's like, yes. I
once ate, and I'm not proud of this, I ate about 2.5 Factors in one sitting. And that's not to say they're not full servings. I was a pig, but they tasted so good, I couldn't stop. It was when we were tasting it. It was market research I was doing.
Yeah, of course. Because Factor really has that restaurant, I always talk about this, the restaurant taste. You cannot fake a restaurant taste.
I feel like you could drop this at a nice restaurant.
Oh, we've fully had this conversation while eating Factor meals before where I was like, if I got this at a restaurant, I would be happy. Yeah. And by the way, we're not even talking about the health. If you are vegan, they have lots of options. If you are keto, that one is really limiting for a lot of people. When you're going out to a restaurant, you cannot be as demanding unless you're going to a specialty restaurant.
By the way, we didn't touch on this quite enough. The dinner you would be having in that restaurant would be about 3 or 4 times as expensive as what you're having here. And it's not frozen.
No, it's honestly like having a personal chef without the awkwardness of the human in your house.
Yes, it's better than a personal chef. The personal chef's like, how was your day today? I saw you with a new girl. Like, oh God, I wish I had Factor.
Plus, we always have to mention this. It matters to me. Factor is a sustainable choice.
They offset 100% of their delivery emissions.
Source 100% renewable electricity for their production sites and offices.
And feature sustainably sourced seafood in their meals.
Ah, that's nice.
So head to factormeals, factormeals.com/shandy50 and use code shandy50 to get 50% off.
So use code Shandy50 at factormeals.com/Shandy50 to get 50% off.
So they snuggle, make out in a hot tub outdoors, and Dotun says he's grateful, quote, for the forces that be that brought them together. And here, Andy, we paused and had a full conversation about how much we loved the wording of that.
Forces that be.
Yes. The forces that be. It's not just the people who cast him. It's not God. It's not Charity for picking him for the date, partly because of his fear of heights. You know what I mean? It's like all of this stuff came together. They were all forces, whatever you believe in.
Yeah.
They came together to culminate in this moment.
Absolutely.
I
It's
loved
beautiful.
that.
It was actually one of the most subtle and powerful breakages of the fourth wall on the show that I've seen.
Oh.
But she was basically saying, like, this is a thing that's crazy, and it brought us together.
Yeah.
Like, people haven't said that exactly.
Okay, so now it's the next day. It's the group date. Charity says she's got experts of the surrounding area, so the outdoors, there to help out. Oh, the guys, I forgot, have to hike up to meet her. So it's a very outdoorsy date. We had to point out that everyone is wearing some sort of at least light jacket.
Yeah, it's
or
cold.
flannel or something. It seems chilly. And this is the day that Brayden chooses not to wear a scarf.
He's an iconoclast. He does what he wants.
Yeah, he really
He doesn't
does.
play by anybody's rules.
No. When Charity says that she has experts on the area, Andy, you said animals? But it turns out these Girl Scouts or Scamania Scouts come out, and Andy, you said, oh, not animals. The Girl Scouts, they're obviously actresses, but they almost seem familiar.
I think they were from Gabby and Rachel's season.
I was thinking that at least one of them was from Clayton, from Michelle's season, where
Yes.
Clayton was being primed to be Bachelor, and they had
that's
that
right.
scene
Yeah,
afterwards.
totally. They're just picking the same actresses.
The girls task the guys with bringing back something to eat from the forest, something edible and safe. With only 5 minutes in the woods, there's no way this was 5 minutes. Just even in terms of all the ITMs that had to be had. The prize being private time with Charity at the KISSING tree.
Yeah. This is the lowest form of one-on-one time.
I didn't mind the editing of this, I will say. Like, whenever they referred to the kissing tree, it was never like, oh yeah, the kissing tree. It was like the
Yeah.
like they would always show the sign at the tree.
They get the joke.
Yeah,
I mean,
it
was good.
at least like slightly self-aware. So as the guys are running around, one of the girls asks Charity who is the smartest of the bunch, and Charity says, definitely not Brayden.
Huh. That's not very nice.
I think that he's very misunderstood. I don't
Yeah.
consider Brayden unintelligent at all.
I actually think Brayden is too intelligent.
Okay, there's goofy music now where Brayden talks about asserting dominance in the woods. He's doing bird calls. This is him in the forest with his ITM. He takes a bite out of a way too perfect beet. There's no way he found those beets.
That's a whole food beat.
Yeah. Yeah, those are beets. You know when you go to a market and they just still have the grains on them? Those were the beets.
Absolutely. That's the nicest beet I've ever seen in my life. There's
Yeah.
not a chance. Not only was there no way that was growing on the hotel, I don't even think that was growing nearby in the state.
No,
like
I
that's from
agree.
out of state. That's an out of state beet.
Yeah, that's from the grocery store with the leaves still on.
Yeah.
And he's taking bites out of the beets, and they have this bite sound that's just way
Yeah.
too loud. They have it on repeat.
Yeah.
Every time he takes a bite, it's the same sound.
Did you think they had to pay for they like AI'd or they just Googled?
Oh my God, do you
like,
think that that's something that could
is it
happen?
a stock sound? Like we got beet crunching sounds, we got apple crunching sounds. The beet crunching sound is going to be more expensive than apple crunching because that's a generic sound.
You think so?
Yeah, definitely. A beet's more nuanced. Like apple, everyone knows the sound. I could hear the sound of an apple crunching. Like I could wake up from a deep, long coma and someone could bite into an apple. I'd be like, apple. I
No,
don't even
the
need to
problem
see
with
it.
apple is that, a beet is always going to be a really hard crunch, while an apple, depending on whether it's a Macintosh apple or a Granny Smith apple, you're going to have a
Yeah,
different
but we're
bite.
not talking about a Macintosh. We're talking about the standard apple crunch sound. It's like a hollow. It's like almost like a log is splitting. It's a very distinct sound.
I feel like if you were hiring some sound artist to give you these sounds, you're paying the same price for a beet or an apple.
Okay. If I was selling the sounds, I would charge more for a beat.
Okay.
That's just me.
Okay. So the guys return with their edible wares. At one point, Tanner is shown seeming annoyed with Brayden for also putting his mushrooms on a faux charcuterie board.
Yeah. That's a low bar for theft.
They have to answer questions now, such as how would you keep Charity warm if you had no fire? Who would you eat to survive? Of course, all the guys say Brayden, and Charity's like, what? Why?
And that's too muscular. Not a good taste.
Oh, you think Brayden wouldn't be the tastiest?
Although they're all pretty muscular.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, there's too much muscle all
Yeah.
around.
I might go for Michael. Michael seems like he's got some good marbling in there.
And how do you want this journey to end with Charity? Aaron B and Joey say on one knee or engaged. You know, most of them are saying the right things. And Brayden, meanwhile, writes content.
He's zen.
I think it's hilarious how hard they tried to make this seem like a bad, wrong
Like he's an animal.
answer. You don't want this to end on one knee. You want to end content.
You selfish pig.
Content. You know, let me tell you, the older I get, the more I value contentment.
Can I tell you something? First of all, contentment is the best thing there is. There's
Yeah.
nothing better. It's better than excitement.
It's better than even happiness.
It's better than happiness. Because happiness without contentment is brief.
Yes, and happiness is made happiness by the fact that you also have down periods. You have sadness.
Yes.
You know, if you're just happy all the time, you can't be happy all the time. You then lose appreciation for it. But contentment, you can be.
You know who's content? Buddha. Buddha was never happy. You say to Buddha, you're like, how are you doing today? Oh, I'm feeling great. I'm doing awesome. I'm so happy. No, he was just like, I'm content.
Yes. I really feel Brayden's answer here showed that sense of defiance.
Yeah.
He's like, I know what you all want me to say, but I'm not going to do it just because you're telling me
He will
to.
never do it. He will never do the thing he's supposed to do unless the thing he's supposed to do is the thing he wants to do.
Yeah, or the thing he actually believes and feels.
Be like Brayden. Om. Is that what you say?
I mean,
Om? No, you don't say
I
om.
would
Say something
also
else.
find it super annoying. Let me tell you, like in that experience, when people were having their girl chats and they were always a little too eager to have them, saying the exact rote thing that they were expected to say when they were expected to say it, I was rolling my eyes. I'm like, there's no way you actually feel that way.
You know what I would feel like, and this is me. So if I become the Golden Bachelor, ABC, I'm just telling you, you gotta get ready for this. If I heard those rote things, I would feel like I was being used. I would feel like there was something they were trying to get from me. I would feel like a dollar sign.
Yes. Yeah, or a means to an end.
Yeah.
Because I'm sorry, you should have some doubts. And I think contentment is honestly a very mature thing to want at the end of all this. Yeah. So unsurprisingly, Aaron is crowned winner here and Brayden is upset about this. He says, where do you see yourself at the end of this? Down on one knee, that's the most generic thing in the world.
He's giving her exactly what he's supposed to. He's like, I don't care if we don't get along. I don't care if we hate each other.
Yeah.
If I never want to touch you again, I'm going to be down on one knee. Because that's what I'm supposed to do to win this show. Bullshit. I call bullshit.
He calls Aaron a cookie cutter dude.
I mean, that's what he's showing us. He may not be a cookie. I bet Aaron isn't a cookie cutter dude. But here he is.
It is. I would be frustrated too.
Me too.
You have all these signs to give these answers and you're just like, oh, you know what it is? It's like the easiest quiz in the world where you know the answers and you're like, it can't possibly be this easy. You know,
absolutely.
You know what? Oh my God. You know what it reminds me of is when you're in a cab and you have that like octopus game where it's like Who Wants to Be a Millionaire kind of questions, but they're just way too easy. Like stupid easy.
Oh, right.
And you're looking at it and you're like, I can't even be bothered to lift my finger to press A, B, C, or
insult
D.
to your intelligence.
It's an insult to my intelligence to even engage with the game.
Right.
That's how these answers feel in this game.
I 100% agree. And also the way Brayden feels, just to make another analogy, not exactly like yours, is when you're like sitting, it's like fifth grade and you're all taking some dumb like middle of the year quiz that doesn't matter for anything. And you just glance over and you're like, oh, you're not even cheating. You're just checking to see if they have the same answer as you. Like a smart guy. You're like, oh yeah, he's the same answer. Okay, I'm on the right track.
Yeah.
And then Aaron B goes to the teacher later and is like, I just want you to know that Brayden was cheating the whole time.
So Brayden in his ITM heading into the evening says he thinks Charity's an amazing woman, but he's not going to settle for someone who doesn't add to his life. Maybe she's an amazing woman for someone else. Like, I actually don't think there's anything wrong with saying this,
Again,
but you don't say this. That's bad.
Well, he's going to lose the game. but he's winning the journey.
You know what's interesting is I honestly think if a female contestant said this, it would not be seen in such a negative light.
Most of the things that Brayden says, I think, is a double standard.
It's so true.
Degree. Yeah.
If a woman was like, he seems like a great bachelor, but I'm not going to settle for a man that doesn't add something to my life, we'd be like, get it, girl.
Well, that's the double standard here, is that the men are not allowed to question this from day one.
Yes.
They're just like, they have to be like, I'm getting down on one knee.
Yes.
Don't care. One knee. Knee. Yeah.
One knee.
Nice.
So now it is the evening, the cocktail party. There's a man chat with all the men waiting for Charity to arrive. Joey and Aaron and Sean are all saying everything they're supposed to be saying.
Oh, yeah.
Everything you could imagine is being said.
All checked
is being
off.
said. Yeah. Brayden, meanwhile, says he's serious about seeing if Charity is for him. So not only just everything about Charity, but like, does Charity work for me too?
Yeah, that's a novel concept.
Yeah. No, but also not allowed. Not allowed.
Not allowed.
And I guarantee you, if a female contestant said that, it would be applauded.
Absolutely.
Aaron accuses Brayden of being pessimistic based on this. And Brayden says, why would he tell Aaron how he's feeling when he's just going to backstab him anyway?
Of course.
I mean, I don't disagree with that. And Aaron's like, well, you packed your bags and you wanted to leave. And Brayden says, so I was having a hard time. So 2 things to unpack there. First is, I think there's nothing wrong with wanting to leave if you're having a hard time.
Absolutely.
And this goes against, remember in episode 2 or so, I was like, we never saw it coming out of his mouth. Everyone's packed up to leave for the cocktail party. So I just have to point out that I was wrong. Apparently Brayden did threaten to leave, having packed his bags, all the things. But I maintain that there's nothing wrong with wanting to leave if you're having a hard time.
Yeah, but he also told Charity. And when Charity was right there, usually that, like, honestly, I give him a break on that. That to me is a respectable white lie. Like, I feel like I could have said that and kind of been lying, and
what thing?
It'd be okay. The packing of the bags and telling Charity.
The packing of the bags.
Yeah, the packing of the bags. No, but he told Charity. He said he told Charity. I said, I told Charity. Charity shows up. And she's like, what's this? And he's like, he said he would pack his bags, blah, 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 twice. And Brayden's like, yeah, I told you, remember? And she's like, yeah. She didn't disagree.
No, actually, she said not twice. So he didn't report to her in his very limited time, let's say anywhere from 5 to 25 minutes a week of time with her, other than his date. And who knows, maybe he packed up since his date. So he hasn't even had time to report to her that he had packed his bags and changed his mind again.
So he's one packing of the bags short.
Yes, this reminds me of, you've mentioned before with Bachelorette seasons, how the Bachelorette ends up feeling like this like stern mother figure.
Yes.
There to scold.
Unbelievably unsexy.
The dynamic, right?
Yeah.
It really is. And this is nothing against Charity. It happens every season.
Stay in line, do what you're told,
yes,
and you'll get the kisses and you'll get the ring.
You'll get the kisses. You'll be rewarded with the kissing tree.
Yes.
It's actually kind of...
It's gross.
It's gross.
And they talk about, they're all this like, they talk about how they're so progressive on this show now. They're like this improvements. What about that? What about the archaic construct of having to like do all the things you're supposed to do to earn a kiss from a woman?
Yes. Yes, private time, which is always mostly making out.
Yeah, don't say you want to be content. That ain't going to work.
Better not do that.
Yeah.
I understand that she doesn't want to be left hanging with someone who's not as invested as her. I get all that. But this just felt like semantics to me.
He told her he packed his bags. That's enough.
Yeah.
If he packed his bags 75 times, the fact that he told her he packed them once is enough.
Yeah.
That's all she needs to know.
It just feels very mother-son dynamic.
Yeah.
And again, I'm not blaming Charity for this because it really does happen every season. And I think it's encouraged.
It's encouraged. The format of the show gives her no latitude to not be the house mother of the show.
Right down to the tattling.
Yeah.
You know, the guys are like, oh, he did this and he did that and he did this and he did that. It's like, I'm winning favor. I'm currying favor for myself. And maybe my friends, I'm okay with my friends too, as long as he, gets time out.
And it's so unromantic.
It is.
You want to fight for it? Go have like a cage match.
I know.
Just be like, you know what? I challenge you. There should be like a dual portion of the show.
That's why I prefer Singles Inferno. Okay, so we sort of glossed over the fact that Charity walks in while this argument is taking place. So she hears...
By accident?
Yeah, right. Thank you. Good point. So she walks in just as Brayden's saying he could leave. And of course, the guys all talk about how Brayden has threatened to leave, all right in front of him. And so she's there with like her hands on her hips. And I gotta say, just to add one more thing to this, everyone threatens to leave. I thought about leaving so many times.
Oh, I know.
And let me tell you, Nikki Farrell, who won my season, you think she didn't think about leaving? She had to be talked off the ledge like 3 different times. I actually think the people that never contemplate leaving or never vocalize contemplating leaving are often the ones that want to just stick around to see how far they can get.
Absolutely. The ones who are the most sincere about how much they like the lead from day one are the ones who are bullshitting.
I would be remiss if I didn't quickly touch on Charity's outfit here, by the way, because she's wearing a wine-colored satin suit with a black lace sort of bralette top thing. Yeah. It's a crop. It's very, I mean, this is a fantastic look. Her hair, can we talk about what a difference her hair made with this outfit versus if it had just been down? She's so good with the side wisps. She did this a lot on Zach's season. That took me a moment. Oh my God. I almost said Clayton. Okay, on Zach's season. And I missed this because Charity pulls off the power updo. And it really made this suit go from like, oh, you know, that's a fun statement to like a statement.
I was distracted from how annoying the scene was by her look.
Yeah, well, in a way, it almost suited it because she was wearing the suit.
Yeah.
So she takes Brayden for a stern talking to now. She asks what's making this so hard for him. Why is he struggling so much? He says he doesn't know where he sits with her. And she says she's aggravated because she feels she's made it clear how she feels about him. So I have to say, I don't love that this was Brayden's response.
I agree.
Because I think that Brayden actually has been given plenty of validation in this situation.
Yeah, I don't know if that's what he really wanted to say, but if that's what he was feeling like he should lead with, I disagree with his choice of words.
I agree. I think it would be better off to just say, I'm having a hard time in the house.
I'm having a hard time psychologically. This whole situation is really freaking me out.
Yeah. I mean, Brayden is honest here when he says he likes her, but he doesn't want to be there anymore, and he doesn't feel he's capable of getting there in this environment.
I mean, again, he's saying the things people think, but they suppress because they want to win.
Yeah, they want to stay for as long as possible.
They want to get as much of that sweet, sweet TV time.
Andy, you called him here a bizarro world Sharleen.
I stand by that.
I do feel you tend to compare anyone who leaves the show to me in this way, but I kind of know what you mean. He's like, I don't think I can get to the place I'm supposed to get to in this situation, and I'm having a hard time with this situation, so I'm kind of done. I mean, it's not so different from how I felt. I just went about it in a totally different way.
But also telling the truth too much. Saying what you 100%. Think too much, showing what you think too much.
Yeah. A lot of the things he's saying are not, they're all things I said.
Yeah.
The difference is that I made fewer enemies.
Yes.
If you make this many enemies, you are giving them ammunition.
You know why? Because you spoke softly and carried a big stick.
Charity says it's disappointing, but she deserves someone who will, quote, wholeheartedly put their whole heart in this.
Wholeheartedly put their whole heart in this whole heart of the wholeheartedly heart.
She walks him out now, and Charity in her ITM says that Brayden is like her ex. He plays victim and doesn't take accountability. I have to analyze that just slightly here. I don't know if I think he played victim.
Oh, I don't think he played victim. I actually think he almost forced himself to be a victim and then didn't fully play victim. I think he knew. He even said it later. He said, basically, I screwed myself. I said too much.
Yeah.
I don't think...
He later on says, I don't want to be a martyr, and I talked too much.
I think he was just being honest. I don't think Brayden is a victim-feeling guy.
No.
I don't get that at all.
Something about this stood out to me because I was like, he doesn't take accountability. I'm actually thinking, I don't know if those are the two things Brayden did here. I think Brayden annoyed a lot of people. He rubbed a lot of people wrong.
He's too much. You get too much.
He was too honest. He spoke too much. He was
too much Brayden.
Obviously a lot to live with. Like, I'm sure the guys were all annoyed with him.
I mean, the thing is, if someone is being ganged up on by the whole team, eventually they're just going to seem like they're playing victim, because they are a victim. They're a victim of being ganged up on.
Yeah, and in that case, you could be like, well, he caused everyone to gang up on him. But I actually don't think Brayden was like, you're all ganging up on me. Like, stop doing this to me. Like, playing the victim, having got himself in that situation. He actually continued to say the things that got him into that situation in the first place. I don't think
he never whined about it.
No.
And I honestly think that it was sort of like a snowball effect. I think like he did one thing that pissed one person off, and then he did another thing that someone's like, ooh, that's a thing you don't say in The Bachelor. I'm going to say that. And then that thing. And then suddenly, I think a lot of like wars are sometimes started by one guy smacking a guy in the face. That's it.
So Brayden in his exit interview says he struggles with getting dropped from Cloud 9 instantly. So he'll be brought up to Cloud 9 and then dropped. And I actually think that sums up his experience quite well.
I agree.
Everything from that first kiss to Charity's brother, to the first impression rose, to then him saying how he felt in the house and then people talking about him. Then he gets his one-on-one date and then Aaron says, you've been doing this. It's been this roller coaster.
This is what I'm going to say. My one critique, I think Brayden is used to getting what he wants in relationships.
Yeah.
I think he's not used to being like sort of, you know.
Oh.
I was into you, now I'm not into you. I think he's a little spoiled. It's my guess. It's just a guess.
Yeah, but I mean, even he said that he was cheated on and had like
That's
trust
true.
issues from his last
That's
relationship.
true. So that contradicts that.
Yeah.
You're right. And you know, the thing about it is that I, in the past, and this in our recaps, I've pointed out people who seem very jealous. People are like controlling. They're like, I don't want you kissing other guys. If you're going to kiss somebody else again or sleep with somebody, I want to know I'm out. I don't want to do this. That's not where Brayden was really coming from.
No.
He was preempting it. He was saying like, look, this is weird. I'm not used to this. I don't have the toolkit for this situation.
Yeah.
Like, unless you can show me a little more, like, I just don't think I'm going to do this.
Well, and I also maintain, or what, not what I said, but what we both said 2 weeks ago when we talked about the device, the kissing record thing.
Yeah.
His issue was about being made to stand there watching it happen.
Right. Yeah.
You know, there's so many little intricacies, and you can so easily slice up all the sentences and make it seem like he's just a jealous, controlling guy, which is really not my takeaway from Brayden at all.
No, I don't take that. I think he lacks a little bit of like uber confidence, but what 24-year-old doesn't lack that kind of relationship confidence?
What Brayden lacks is finesse.
Yes.
That's it.
Yeah. He always comes in with a sledgehammer.
Yeah. He lacks finesse, and he's expected to play the octopus game in the New York
And
taxi
love it.
cab.
And love it.
Yeah.
I won. How many numbers are there before 4? I got it.
Charity returns to the group and says Brayden will not be returning, and quote, that is a decision I'm confident in. We had a good laugh over this, Andy.
She does know people are going to be watching the show in a few months, right? I mean, she's the lead. You know, it's like the boss. When like an underling does something good, the boss is like, I'm so glad I made this decision.
Yeah.
You know?
And the underling's like,
Yeah, they can't say anything now.
no.
It's gone.
So cue sweeping feel-good recovery music.
Yeah.
We get
the recovery music.
I wrote that. It reminds me of like spa music, kind of, you know, where it's
I
like,
love spa music.
oh yeah, it's good stuff.
Once I get into spa, every time I go to a spa, I'm like, I don't want to go to a spa. You know me in spas. I just have some aversion to going to a spa.
But then when you're there,
as soon as I hear that music, I'm like, this is the right
I don't
place
know
to
why
be.
you fight me on spas. Yeah,
No, you're always right about that.
It's a good time.
Yeah, that's good.
So with the feel good recovery music, we get a montage of knight in shining armor one-on-one time. I wrote with each Aaron, Sean, Joey, Tanner, and Michael. Lots of making out across the board, and the group date rose here goes to Joey, who pretty much, I mean, all we really saw of their time was him assuring her that he would be ready to get down on one knee. That's the most
Joey
important
is
thing.
a good kisser. This kissing is really carrying him.
Oh, for me, Joey is just, you know what he's good at doing is
Just
playing
doing
the
the thing.
octopus game and pretending that like
loves
he's
it.
really achieving
He's
something.
in the backseat of the car cheering and clapping and with cards from his grandfather.
Oh, yes. Yeah, he came with props. He came with everything.
Yeah.
Okay, so now it's the next. I mean, do you think people are going to know what I mean by this octopus game?
No.
That's heartbreaking.
That's a trivia. Just like call it Jeopardy.
It's like a trivia game, but the questions are so stupid. Like they're way too easy that you can't even be bothered to play. I'm upset if people don't know what I'm talking about because it really is the perfect analogy.
It's really dumb. There's only once in a while there are two answers that are like one of them could possibly be like if you were really half asleep or like wasted in the backseat of the cab, you might think it's that for a second.
Yeah.
But that's as far as it goes.
Yeah.
It's like who starred in like Mission Impossible, like Tom Booze, like Lom Smooze, like Joe Snooze.
Okay, so now it's the next day. Xavier has his one-on-one. They explore the local fruit festival. I wrote a very weak farmer's market.
I got to be honest with you, I question this fruit festival if it's official.
Andy, you said it feels like they just set this up just for this.
Yeah, I think if they're going to have a festival in a town that wants to make a name for himself, it's not like everyone in the world is like, oh, Stevenson, Washington. Obviously, everyone knows that.
Yeah.
They're not going to call it the fruit festival. It's going to be something cooler than that.
Okay.
It's too generic.
Yeah, it did feel very much like they just set up tables from the conference room.
It's like, do we got any bananas? Got any grapes? Any oranges?
The pear jam making thing.
Oh, yeah.
Like just throw some
I'm telling you,
sauce.
those were not pears. They just literally went to the store. We got a bunch of applesauce and just stuffed it in there.
It looks like that, yeah.
And then poured some like marshmallows in. Just mixed it up.
Marshmallow.
Give it some gelatinousness. Wait, gelatinosity? Gelatinosity, I think.
Gelatin.
No, like what if something displays the aspects of being gelatinous? It's gelatin. So it's not
Or
gelatin.
you think maybe it's gelatinousness.
I think it might be gelatinousness or gelatinosity.
They take a train ride now where Xavier says he's grown a lot already from this experience. He didn't expect it. The body language is questionable here. It's like he's got his arm over her shoulder and he's like looking at her and like very close to her face, but she's kind of like this. It doesn't feel like she's into him, if I'm honest.
I agree.
And even when they kiss for a bit and then she puts her head on his chest.
Yeah, the head on the
suggesting-
chest is like, it's kind of like a break. It's like a restroom.
You know what it felt like? It felt like Charity's tired.
Tired.
I would also be getting tired around this
fatigued.
point.
Yeah.
She's been on a handful of one-on-one dates. She's been dealing with all this group date stuff. She's like, I needed a day off.
I agree.
Yeah, instead I had to make pear jam at Bob for Apples.
At the fruit festival.
I wrote, as if she's hearing me questioning things. She then says Xavier reminds her of her ex, and she's not sure she could get there with him. So there's a lot of, but I mean, none of us were buying it.
No.
Let's be honest.
She's going to get there.
Yeah. In the evening, Charity in her voiceover says that Xavier reminds her of her ex because she needs to find out how loyal a guy he is.
What does she mean? He looks like her ex?
Yeah.
Or he just like has the same like
It's
voice
true.
timbre of her ex?
You're
Like,
right.
what
There
is that?
wasn't a lot to go off here. She kept
Yeah.
saying that he reminded her of her ex, but there was no actual trait
Yeah.
to suggest it. Andy, here we paused and went on a tangent about loyalty and how people have it all wrong when it comes to loyalty. Do you want to talk about it? Quickly, because we're over time already.
Loyalty is a show don't tell. It's like asking someone at like 7 years old, what's the meaning of life? And you're like, got it. Okay, now I'm going to do it. No, you have to find it. You have to go on the journey. You
Yes.
can't get loyalty out of the gate.
It's true.
How do you get loyalty? You know what you get? You get bullshit. If someone's like, oh, I'm really loyal. That's
Yeah.
what I do. I'm loyal. If someone tells you they're loyal in the first week, watch out.
In fact, I would put more stock in someone telling me that they've cheated on past partners
Absolutely.
than someone telling me that they're really, really loyal.
You know who would do that? Brayden.
Yeah, the whole like I'm really loyal. We were talking to
What does that mean?
Yeah, we were talking to a friend the other day who was going through a breakup, and I asked her what are her like needs versus her wants. What does she need? Number one, and her number one thing she said was loyalty. We both took issue with that because I think loyalty, that's not a compatibility thing.
No.
First, you need to build the blocks of compatibility. What makes the two of you worth being loyal for?
Yeah. It's like going into a cave. Like you're a spelunker. You get into the entrance of the cave and you're like, just I want to see what the end of this cave looks like.
Yes.
Show it to me.
Yeah.
Like, no, you got to get in there. God, I don't want to do that. Nothing I want less than to go into those narrow passageways and cave diving.
Yeah.
Cave diving? Cave crawling?
Well, let me tell you,
Caving?
the new
Spelunking?
Zelda. Okay, this is just a tangent for the people who like Zelda. I know that a lot of people don't. You can just fast forward 15 seconds. But the new Zelda, Tears of the Kingdom, you have to go in all these caves. And I'm not going to lie, I find it scary. Because sometimes in one of those caves, there's a monster you don't expect, and it's very, very jarring.
Wow, now we've gotten off track. But I respect I thank you for the Zelda
Yes,
example. But loyalty is something not only you have to earn, but you have to find through discovery. And that's
Yes.
part of the process. And if you're with the right person and everything else jives, you're going to get the loyalty.
Yes.
Saying you want loyalty is like, what do you like about food? I like to feel full.
You know what I would rather is honesty.
Honesty. Yes.
Because an honest person will tell you where their loyalty stands.
Yes.
Loyalty is an effect. It's not the cause.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay,
I mean,
all right.
that's, we agree on this. Okay.
It's fun having these debates with you.
Yeah, it's like talking to ourselves. I'm going to list some things for you, and you tell me if this is a good or bad thing. Heavy, smelly, greasy, bad for the environment, annoying. You have 10 seconds.
That's why we love our Lomi, which is our electric countertop composter, which has completely changed not only our lives, but our lifestyle. Our food waste, which used to go into a garbage bag, and it would sit in that bag for maybe 2 days, 3 days while we filled up the rest of the garbage bag. It would start to stink.
And by the way, it's July.
It's not like your garbage disposal area is for some reason refrigerated. Finally, you're lugging it out and it's heavy, it's wet, it's often dripping.
If I can go not one more day in my life of having a dripping garbage, this will be a life well lived.
Yeah, that's why the Lomi is such a game changer. You put all your food waste. So this is food scraps. This is the part of the pepper you don't eat. This is the leftovers that aren't quite enough to get another meal out of. This is the scraps on your plate. They all go in the Lomi. And then with the push of one button, the Lomi magically transforms all that food waste into soil, which you can then sprinkle on your plants to make more green in the world.
And not to backtrack, but that smell, by the way, that is so revolting to us is a dinner bell for rodents and insects.
Yes. We used to have a recurring mouse, Mr. Mouse. Would come around, especially in the summertime, and we've noticed a big difference because of the Lomi single-handedly.
You know, it's been so long that I actually am starting to almost miss Mr. Mouse.
Mr. Mouse has found someone else's garbage to
I'm sure, yeah.
ruffle through. Oh, and we haven't even talked about what happens after that garbage bag leaves your house or your building. Because it's not like that just magically goes off into the distance and you never have to think about it again. You might not think about it again, but that food waste sits there and gradually turns into methane, which is a very harmful greenhouse gas.
Much more harmful than CO2.
Yeah, and
much more.
Yes. And meanwhile, you could be turning that same food waste, that same future methane into nutrient-rich soil for plants.
That make your plants healthier.
It's
and
insane.
make your neighbors come over and be like, oh, wow, what nice plants.
Yes.
So you get more friends.
So whether you want to make a positive environmental impact or just grow a beautiful garden, Lomi is perfect for you. Head to lomi.com/Shandy and use promo code Shandy to get $50 off your Lomi.
That's $50 off your Lomi when you go to lomi.com. That's LOMI.com/Shandy and use promo code Shandy at checkout.
And we thank Lomi for sponsoring this episode.
You know, Sharleen, when I was a kid, if you called someone square, that was an insult.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
a little before my time, but you're right. Oh,
Yeah,
don't
it's
be
like
such
calling them
square.
a loser.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, or a nerd.
Uh-huh.
But I'll tell you something that isn't a loser or a nerd. And that's Squarespace.
Yes, they understand that that square, either the screen that's on your computer or the screen in your hand, is where the world is, and that space can be filled with your online identity, your business. You can sell yourself, you can promote yourself using that square. Why would you not use that square space?
I'll tell you, that space might be square, but it is not square.
Okay, so we do love us Squarespace. This is for real. We've been Squarespace customers long before we ever started Dear Shandy. And let me tell you, I had used other website design platforms before that. And it says something that once I went Squarespace, I did not go back. I moved everything over.
So tell me, Sharleen, what makes Squarespace so good?
Well, Andy, first of all, it's their templates. You guys have heard me talk about their templates, but they really are a game changer. They give you these models to work off, a template that you just plug and play your own graphics, your images, your information into. So even if you don't want to be the person that spends hours upon hours making their website uniquely bespoke, honestly, you can use their color templates, their layout templates, and instantly, in a day, have a beautiful website. And also their features are out of control. They have a feature for every need under the sun, whether you are running your business, whether your site is just a sort of landing page, it's a portfolio for your work, or maybe you provide a service, you need to be booked through the site. I could really go on and on. You can tell I am talking about Squarespace like someone who has spent a lot of time on Squarespace.
No, I wish every time I asked a question, I got that kind of answer.
So head to squarespace.com for a free trial. And when you're ready to launch, go to squarespace.com/Shandy and use code Shandy to get 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain.
Again, that's squarespace.com for a free trial. And when you're ready to launch, go to squarespace.com/Shandy and use code Shandy to get 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain.
Okay, so they're at dinner now. Andy, you had an issue with how big the portions are.
That was a big big, beautiful portion of food, which I believe was a steak. And I can't think of a more sinful thing than having a giant steak sitting there. It's a prop that's going to be thrown in the garbage.
I would like to think that someone is going to eat it.
I don't think they are. I really don't. I think that food is going to go in the garbage.
I hope you're wrong.
That makes me sad. Again, this is my biggest of all the issues I have with this franchise.
Yeah.
Honestly, it's all fun in the end. The one issue I really want them to change is this food thing. Eat the food.
Yeah. Okay, so Charity's on a mission to find out how loyal a guy Xavier is. And I wrote cue interview vibes. She asks him if he can see himself getting engaged at the end of this. And he says when he's in a relationship, he's in it. His big fear actually is that his feelings are not reciprocated. And this lines up very nicely with Charity's fears of not being prioritized or being cheated on. So, you know, they seem pretty happy.
Yeah. That's it.
Yeah, they really
That's it. Doesn't remind her of Rex anymore.
Xavier says what Charity can expect from him always is complete honesty.
That's what we want.
I'm into that.
That's
very
what we
into
want.
that. And now he reveals that he went into his field. Let's double check.
He's a PhD in chemical and biochemistry, I think.
Biomedical scientist. He's getting his PhD. Very impressive.
You can really feel it too.
Yeah, and he says it's because his mother has MS, right?
Yeah, that's really bad
and
news.
his father is her primary caregiver. He wants to be able to be that for his partner. That's why he's pursuing what he's pursuing. She starts to cry here. It's very sweet. He closes his eyes in that way that I find men do when they're trying not to cry.
Yeah.
They definitely connect here. She gives him the rose. And the way he says, of course, she says, will you accept this rose? And he's like, of course.
Yeah.
It's very sweet.
I mean, Xavier is just...
Okay, we love Xavier. Okay, so now it's the next day. We get lots of positivity because Brayden's gone.
Yeah.
That's worth celebrating.
It's so great. Now we have a show that's going to be super boring. So happy about that.
Charity arrives in a bright red satin halter gown with a plunge neckline. There are these 2 rows of embellishments. She's got a center part and sort of Farrah Fawcett curls and a fur-trimmed white cape. It's a very old Hollywood look.
Yeah.
I'm not going to complain about her hair being down with this
No, me
because
neither.
I found the dress kind of predictable and not in a bad way, and therefore it didn't matter. It's not like the dress was trying to do something different.
To me, this was a tongue-in-cheek outfit.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, it worked.
You know, it's like Jennifer Rabbit-esque, kind of like pushing it obviously a little too far, a little homage to the
It was
40s.
full-blown homage,
Yeah.
red carpet, red lip. It worked. Okay, so we get a montage of one-on-one time, first with Aaron. He massages her. Dotun, she shows him a childhood photo. Can I just even analyze the difference in those 2 one-on-one times?
Yeah.
One is Aaron being Aaron. He's like, oh, you're tense. I'll massage you.
Yeah.
And with Dotun, she brings him a photo of her as a child where he like he's like, I can see it. And they're talking. It's just, there's so much more substance.
It's real. It's 2 people having a real thing.
Yes. And it also shows that she sees him differently.
Yeah.
It's not just like, oh, let's get through this one-on-one time. It's like, oh, I brought something that we can talk about.
All Dotun has done by doing this is make himself the guy to beat.
Okay, so basically, time with Joe is just making out. Off in the woods, she and Tanner aggressively make out. It was a very aggressive makeout.
Yeah.
I wasn't into it.
I wasn't into it either.
Tanner,
Didn't look like a good makeout either.
No.
It looked like sort of like let's really make out. Like make out.
yeah, we're here. It's time to make out.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm going to do the thing that I'm here to do.
Yeah.
There's not any romance, honestly.
Tanner's a short termer.
Sure. Yeah. Cue ominous music because Brayden is returning. Someone says, why is he here? While we're shown Caleb gasping, and we both laughed really hard here.
Yeah.
Caleb.
Caleb.
Why is Brayden here?
Yeah.
Why is Caleb
Caleb
there?
literally hasn't been within 6 feet of Charity for like 2 weeks.
He's the one guy, like, have we seen any makeouts
Nothing.
there?
He's there simply because he is that guy.
Yes.
He's there to show his face and to be a WWF. Go ahead. You try it.
WWF.
Say it 3 times.
WWF, WWF, WWF. That was
Oh, you
hard.
just made it. I should have said 4.
Brayden walks in on John and Charity. I gotta say.
The passion, you could cut it with a knife.
If they're making out, it's dead silent.
It's
in
pretty
this room.
hilarious.
And I loved also there was a bit of fourth wall here because you saw what else was in the room, which was basically nothing.
Yeah. They're just having a nice night go.
Whenever anyone's like, why are they so awkward? Just look at that room.
No, you really get a feel for it.
Yes.
Feel some pain for them. They're going through a hard time. This is why Brayden lost his mind.
There's nothing else in that room. There's just a little 2-seater. Go sit there. There's all this decoration right around it.
Have a nice, open, vulnerable conversation.
Yes.
Do your makeout. Get that good makeout.
Yeah,
on.
while everyone is around you with mics and lights and
totally
cameras.
Normal. One thing I will say is, I'm sure 110. Whoa. No, you didn't wait for it.
Careful there.
No, 110 million.
Okay, million. Okay, go on.
Production clearly prompted him to do this.
I almost didn't even want to use my breath to say that.
I had to because I'm the more junior person in the company. Yeah, that's what I do.
Yeah, it's obvious to anyone thinking critically that Brayden went because he was encouraged to smooth things over with Charity, to apologize, to end things on a good note.
And I'm going to take it a step further. They even choreographed it to interrupt John's kiss.
Oh, I agree.
They said that he probably was outside, like in the car. They're like, wait for it, wait, and go.
Oh, I'm so proud of you. You really, you've this moment, you have officially graduated from junior recapper to recapper.
Dun, 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 dun.
Nothing is accidental.
It's not like he just walked in and like, okay, Brayden, just go whenever you want. Just
you know what else wasn't
head on in there.
accidental? Is the fact that the only way to access the room
is to go through John's kiss.
No, the only way to access the room where John and Charity were kissing is to go through,
through the
room
guys.
where all the guys are.
Yeah.
You think they didn't block off doors strategically to make that happen?
Absolutely. He probably had to walk an extra like 300 feet.
Yes.
Because they needed him to go through the guys' room.
Yes.
Anyway, he goes in and I'll give him credit. He waits. He clearly is waiting. He's like, oh crap, they made me go in when poor John is kissing her. Like he felt, you could see that he was like, I feel a little bad. And he waited.
Yeah.
He did wait. Then he was like, finally, he's like, all right, I got to do this. And he did the thing.
He did the thing. First, though, we have to talk about that kiss. Have you ever seen a more passionless kiss in your life?
I mean, it was pretty funny. You know what really, really drove it home?
What?
Was the lack of music.
Oh, it made me realize that all the other scenes with John leading up to this episode were just smoke and mirrors.
Smoke and mirrors.
I fell for it. It's not that I thought John was going to go anywhere. He was never in my top 4. He was never even a wild card for me, but I was like, John is going to be brought far enough to be a consideration for Bachelor. And then when we saw them kissing with no music, it was like,
It's over.
It almost gave me goosebumps in a bad way.
It felt like a horror movie.
It felt so methodical.
Yeah.
I got to give her credit. I could never do that.
Yeah, she's a strong woman. And look, this is not a diss on John. John is a very good looking, seemingly like very put together, nice, cool,
he has
cool-ish
one
guy.
very good gear.
Yes, and his gear is he's the best one gear guy I've ever seen.
Yeah.
But Charity is doing work. This is work.
Yeah.
This is not play.
It looks like work. Okay, so now Brayden and Charity chat. So the kiss wraps and they're like, and John is like,
Charity's like, thank God. No, it's like, oh, it's Brayden. Oh God, I can't win anywhere.
So John leaves and Brayden and Charity chat. He says he didn't like how he left. He was emotionally charged. He's really sorry. Charity says she respects his feelings, but she wonders if he ever even saw himself at the end of this at all. He says it's nothing she did. And she's like, oh, I know it wasn't me. And he says he was just in over his head. He apologizes. And she's like, okay. It ends in that like terse way where you're both just trying to be adults. But to be honest, nothing Brayden did here.
No. He actually was
wrong. I know
honestly,
that's breaking news.
I know. It sounds like we're biased at this point, but I stand by it. I want to say things about Brayden that are not nice.
I know,
and
me too.
can't.
Same. To me, it was clear that he was encouraged to apologize. He maybe didn't like how negative their ending was.
I want to tell you something about what happened. I would like to say something that I felt, a guttural feeling, is that this was the quintessential apology of a gentleman. Most guys in this situation would have come back for personal reasons. They would have been like, I'm really sorry. I want to try this again.
Oh.
Or I'm really sorry. I want you to see me differently. And these are all the reasons why.
Mm-hmm.
He literally came back for an unconditional apology for leaving the wrong way and explained to her, don't think this is you. This is about me.
Yeah.
Like it was like there was no MO.
Yeah.
And that is what no one does almost ever.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. Anyway, Aaron, meanwhile, is talking about how Brayden is so disrespectful. Andy, you said the guy comes to apologize. So disrespectful.
Yeah, terrible.
And we start to see John unraveling for the first time. He has more than one gear, maybe.
Yeah.
Brayden steamrolls now past them because he has to go past that room because of the rooms that are blocked off.
Yeah.
It's like this maze.
Well, it's like those video games where like you have to get somewhere and you went the wrong way, but then you have to go back and go through a room of monsters.
Oh.
And you're like, oh, great. I have to do that again.
Good job, Andy.
Thank you.
I liked that one.
Thank you.
It's true. You think that the good prize or the thing you really need to get to the next level isn't after the room of monsters?
Yeah.
He needs to make it to his bus, his weirdly brightly lit bus.
Yeah. You want to win this game? You want to get us smelling clean? Get through that room of monsters.
Aaron is really confrontational here. Like he blocks his path and Brayden's like slips past him and is like, this is pretty good. Because Aaron's like yelling at him the whole time about how disrespectful he is. And Brayden on his way to the bus is like, you've got a big dick, man. You're good.
I mean, you know what? I would like a moment of silence to appreciate how good that one liner was.
Oh, that was amazing.
He said the exact right thing. He never looked back, really. He never engaged. He never was like chest to chest.
No,
like,
he
yeah, you
really
want to
just
go?
said, I'm not here for that. Let me go.
Yeah, he just wants to go home.
All he wanted to do was apologize to her. And then they made it seem like he was doing this act of disrespect. But really, I have to point out, just if we're going to nitpick the way everyone wants to nitpick Brayden, how did Brayden take away time any more from other people than Aaron did last week?
Absolutely. Good
Or
point.
Adrian did the week before that?
Everyone takes everyone's time away. This is what happens.
They're blaming all that time being taken away on Brayden. It was on Adrian and Aaron for reporting to Charity about Brayden, which would then be used as a device to take time away from everyone.
Yes. Brayden came in, he did what he needed to do, and he left. And he got assaulted on the way out,
Yes.
basically with words and potentially physical threats.
Yes.
And there's nothing better than that because he put Aaron in his place. That's exactly what Aaron was doing. Aaron was trying to show he had the biggest dick. And he said it in, honestly, I felt a little sexual energy for Brayden.
It was really good. Okay, so Brayden's in the back of the van now. And of course, the van's not leaving conveniently.
Oh, no.
He's like, please let me
the
go.
guy-
The driver went out to have a smoke or something.
Yeah. Reminded me of one of these. There's this time, I tell you, this is a terrible story.
Oh.
It was very scary for me.
Oh.
I was driving home from a bar with this girl that I had been dating at the time. She was a little wild.
Okay.
And she had taken a glass of champagne from the bar. She just forgot to put it. She was drinking it in the cab.
Ooh.
Yeah, it was a bad move. It's just really. So these guys roll up, like very scary looking guys, roll up next to us. And he rolls the window down and he says something like sexual about her. And she rolls her window down and takes the champagne glass and throws it at his face and it breaks on his head. And I was just like, oh, that was too far. And I was like, well, we're in a cab. We just have to go. And the cab driver, guess what he does? He turns off the engine and stops. Oh, I'm telling you, this happened. And so these guys pull up in front of us, stop their car. They get out, 4 guys. And all 4 of these guys, each one of them with one hand could take me. They open the trunk and take baseball bats out.
Oh my God.
And they come to my door, like this is my fault.
Yeah.
They come to my door, bang on my door, which is locked, obviously, and like open the door and they're holding the bats. And I managed, this is one of my great achievements in life. I managed to diffuse this situation.
Oh, that doesn't surprise me.
I mean,
Andy.
it took everything I had. It took everything I had.
Andy, you had the big stick.
I did have the big stick. Wow, that was a good callback.
Yeah, you had the big stick.
Yeah, I did, I guess.
You
I had the big
spoke
stick.
wisely.
It was a close call. But anyway, this reminded me of that, where the driver is like, nah.
Yeah.
I don't drive. You sit. That's what I'm paid to do.
I mean, that's pretty ballsy of the cab driver, actually, because, I mean, those baseball bats could have landed on his cab.
All I can tell you is when those guys got back in their car and drove away, I had some words for that man.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
I feel like the words should have been had for the girl.
I had words for both of them.
Okay. All right. Well, that was I've never heard that story before.
Yeah, I've never told it. It's really, I kind of buried that one. It was very scary.
That sounds
I
traumatic.
thought I was going to die.
Oh, so watching this scene was maybe triggering for you, Andy.
That's the first thing I thought of. I was triggered.
Okay, so while the bus is sitting there not taking off, John confronts Brayden. He's like, bro, pardon me.
Yeah.
Bro, I'm on the chopping block. He says, you don't do this to another man, bro. You can tell that Brayden and John are kind of friends. Like Brayden's like, I'm sorry, man. I just had to do this. It's nothing against you.
Totally,
I didn't mean to do that. You can tell that
he was gentle with him.
Yeah, they were gentler with each other. Meanwhile, Aaron's in the background, like threatening Brayden and like they're like hurling these threats at each other. And meanwhile, Dotun just looks embarrassed.
Embarrassed for everyone, including himself.
So finally, the bus takes off and the guys return to the cocktail party and John says, sweet John.
Sweet boy.
He says, if it's okay with you all, I'll be continuing my conversation. And they're like, oh no, yeah, that's fine, man. That's fine.
Good luck with that,
sorry, bro.
buddy.
That's fine, bro. And then, of course, cue Jesse Palmer with page 1 from the handbook. Not a week can go by where this device is not used. He arrives to tell them that the cocktail party is over. But
A lot of cock, not a lot of tail.
that's actually incredibly true. So now John angrily blames Brayden for this situation, and also I think wrongfully.
Yeah.
It's not Brayden's fault that the powers that be were like, sweet, now we can cancel the cocktail party.
I got to be honest with you. I love John, but I think John was doing that thing people sometimes do when they know that they're going to lose at something and then they see an external thing that they can blame it on. They're like, oh, but it's that. It's the joystick. The joystick was broken.
My controller isn't working.
John blamed it on the joystick. He knew he was about to lose that game.
Oh, but I'm sorry. We saw that silent kiss. There was nothing there.
John was done. He was done.
It was over for John.
Yeah.
But John did show some rage here. He said, I've never been so disrespected in my life. And Andy, you said 1.2 gear Johnny. You got excited.
Yeah.
Before we get to the rose ceremony, I have to point something out here. I'm being very thorough today.
Yeah.
Xavier says she has to send people home and she's only talked to half of them. Okay. Xavier. You know, on the surface, you're like, yeah, it's true.
Xavier is just on point all the time.
We have to analyze what he's really saying here. There's like almost like looking down on the situation instead of being in it. She has to send people home and she's only talked to half of them. It's not about who caused what. It's not about the cocktail party ending because of blah, blah, so-and-so interrupted too. He's pointing out the blatant truth, which is that...
The ultimate speaking softly but carrying a big stick.
Yes. This week, last week, the week before that, she sent people home without having spoken to them.
Yep.
Who is to blame for that? I'm not blaming Charity.
Nope.
Who is to blame for that situation?
I'm not blaming Brayden either.
No. I'm not even blaming Aaron from last week or Adrian from the week before. Who's to blame? The powers that effing be. I'm trying to watch my language.
Yeah, you should. No need to say such cuss words.
But seriously, the powers that be. Yeah. This is a tool. It's a device. It's a page from the handbook. Stop getting mad at each other. There's a greater thing at play here.
You know what it is? It's a deal with the devil. You get on the show, it's a classic deal. The devil's like, oh, look at this beautiful banquet I've made for you. You're hungry? Enjoy.
Yeah.
And then you're like, yeah, really?
Yeah.
And then as soon as you eat it, you realize it's all just a hologram.
Yeah, like what? Is it suddenly too late? Suddenly, is it bedtime?
Yeah.
Has the stress caused Charity to lose her voice?
You know what it is? They're always on a rug, and the production is always pulling on that rug.
So true. In every which way.
Like nothing wrong could happen. I'm on a nice rug.
All right, now what I called the least suspenseful rose ceremony ever. So going home are John, Michael, and Caleb. And I got to say, I think if John had given more drama throughout, he would have been getting Sean's rose.
Absolutely.
You know, they showed a little bit of conversation with John, but I think he was a little too diplomatic.
Yeah.
A little too laid back.
2-gear Johnny goes one step further. 3-gear Johnny might actually win.
Or might become Bachelor. Meanwhile, Sean has been very vocal. Sean was willing, remember last week, oh my God, that was his audition. That's how he got this rose. He returned from his private time with Charity, hard won from the Barbie sing-along thing. He came back singing and rubbed everyone wrong. We said he did a deal with the devil. This was his prize. He stayed for another week.
That song got him another week.
The song Returning, not the song where he won the time.
No, the song, the annoying song, where he comes back singing for no reason.
For no reason, yeah.
The Bachelor rewards not necessarily bad behavior, but incorrect behavior.
Yeah, they reward anything that can give them something to work with. They just want a foothold. Just give us something. And Sean proved in that moment that he is more willing to do that than John has been. John hasn't been willing to do that at all. John actually doesn't, he's pretty like drama free, and he's not enough of a front runner to make up for that.
I totally get it. Like we talk about production a lot, but I get it. I know why they want this. They're hungry for it. They've been through this so many times. They're in the trenches. You know what production of this show needs to do?
What?
They need to do what the Beatles did in the late 60s. They need to go to India to like really like get all holistic and like go on a journey.
Yeah.
And really find themselves and, alternative medicines, alternative religions. They need to have a real experience and change their outlook and come back fresh.
Maybe that's what the Golden Bachelor is.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Maybe it is.
They're like, we need just a total shakeup. We need to stop working with 25-year-olds.
Yeah.
See what happens.
The Maharaji. That's who I was thinking of. They went to see the Maharaji.
Caleb in his exit ITM says, I know for a fact one of those men will be her husband and it's going to be perfect. You know what's funny about that? Like that sentence.
And that's the last time he ever wrestled in the WWF.
I think the funniest part of that sentence is one of those guys.
One of those guys.
Yes. If you said, I know for a fact Dotun's going to be her husband, it's going to be perfect, then I'd be like, wow, that's so sweet. One of those guys, it immediately loses all meaning, that sentence.
It's like, you know what? I left the bowling game, but I know that one of those pins is definitely going to go down.
It's utterly meaningless.
Yeah, everyone's the same.
Musical chairs.
Any
One of
guy.
those guys will be her husband. It'll be perfect.
Oh, yeah. It takes a lifetime to find a life partner. And even then, most of the time, it doesn't work out that great.
Yeah.
And one of those guys, any guy, it's fine.
One of those guys.
One of those guys.
John in his ITM wipes away a tear, and Andy, you said, ooh, 1.4 gear, Johnny. And during the preview for the rest of the season, this is where we felt that the season is short.
Yeah, has to be.
For episode 4, for us to be down to 6, I haven't been reading stuff, so maybe this has been public knowledge, but I'm struck.
I feel like
I'm shook by how short this season is.
I honestly feel there were seasons we've seen where at episode 4, there were like 15 guys left.
Well, let's move on, Andy, to the credits. I hardly want to give this airtime, so we're going to plow through this. Jesse Palmer wears a Bigfoot outfit and is seen trudging around the forest, and then there's some acting.
He does some acting.
Where he says, I don't want to do this again. They make him do it again. I do not want to talk about that. So let's move on to Andy's A game. Who is your winner, Andy?
So I felt like people were going to come at me if I gave it to Brayden again. So I kind of did want it to give it to Brayden, but it's a complicated A game. There's a lot of things going on. I'm giving.
Well, yeah, no, sorry, I don't mean to interrupt. The only reason why I think Brayden should not have been convinced to return to apologize.
Yeah.
That's for me, his one big miss. Even though he meant well, and he did mean well, I 100% believe he came back just to apologize. He meant 100% well. No. I still think he should have known better, knowing how this was all used against him in the first place.
Yeah, but that's more.
Like you got to learn the lesson.
Conceptual A game. Yeah. I'm talking about A game. What happens right in the room?
Oh, okay.
Like it doesn't matter why he ended up there. I'm saying what he did. Generally speaking, I couldn't have improved much upon what Brayden did this episode. But as far as A game, I'm gonna move away from Brayden. He's gone. Rest in peace. Xavier.
Yes.
And I will say something about Xavier. Xavier, in my experience with this franchise, I have rarely seen a more flawless progression than I've seen with Xavier.
Yeah.
Xavier has done literally not one thing wrong. And by wrong, I don't mean wrong necessarily for the show. Like he said all the right things. And if anything, the opposite.
No, yeah.
He's just been Xavier.
Yes.
He's been the guy. I want to see more Xavier. I want to see more Xavier.
Yeah. How often can you say that?
Yeah. Put it this way. If you showed me Xavier, like all the things I've seen except the knitting, and someone asked me, what do you think Xavier's hobby is? I'd say knitting. I wouldn't, but you know what I mean.
All right, Andy, it's time for our word watch. There were only 2 right reasons. Yeah. Still.
Yeah, you're getting off easy here.
I don't know about next week. Okay, so there were a total of 159 correct guesses. And the winner of the prize of $150 worth of LMNT, zero sugar electrolytes, including their insider bundle and water bottle, such an awesome prize. I had some this morning. Is Jody B6855. Jody, Jodi.
I knew a Jody B6855. Lovely woman.
Back in the day.
Lovely woman.
Jody B6855, you are the winner. Congratulations. Please email us by this Friday at midnight to claim your prize. And Andy, do you have a word for next week?
I do. And that word is family.
Whew.
Sorry.
Yeah, it's okay. I forgive you.
hard.
Okay, so we have a very exciting prize for next week. Oh, yeah. The prize for next week is a Cozy Earth. We reached out to you guys know we love our Cozy Earth.
Cozy Earth is undeniably great.
Yes, Andy's wearing their pants right now. Our bed sheets are for them. Our towels are by them. Well, you have a chance to win their 8-piece waffle bath bundle, a $220 value. We love these towels. They air dry so fast. They're just
Beautiful
awesome.
Towel.
They also have like a bit of exfoliating to them that I love. But let's say you're like, I just bought towels, or I love my towels. I don't need towels. You can also, if you choose, put that money towards something else from Cozy Earth. So $220 value. That's unbelievable. So to enter, you must guess correctly the number of times the word family is uttered in episode 5. You will guess using the numeral. Do not write once or twice or thrice. You must comment below this YouTube video or on the Instagram post for this recap. Do not email us. Do not DM us. So comment using the numeral, and you must include either family and or word watch in your comment. Finally, you must enter by this Friday at midnight to qualify.
Yes.
All right. Exciting.
Yeah.
Finally, Andy, our predictions. We're going to plow through this because I think it's, there's only 6 people left. We're going to be on the same page. Who do you have in your top spot?
Dotun.
Same. Who do you have in second?
Joey.
Same. Who do you have in third?
Xavier.
Same. And who do you have in fourth?
Always bullshitting.
Okay, so Aaron in fourth, meaning that we predict Sean and Tanner will be going home next.
Going out on a limb here.
Okay, that's a wrap, Andy.
That's it.
If you enjoyed what you heard today, you know what we will ask of you. I'm going to say it again, even though I said it at the top. I remembered. Like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, follow us on Instagram, and
TikTok.
Leave us Apple and
Spotify.
Podcast ratings and reviews. Tell your friends, and generally do all the things you would do to support a podcast you enjoy. Thank you so much for tuning in, and we'll see you next time on Dear Shandy. Bye-bye.